Hello and welcome everyone to another weekly market commentary from StashAway. With us, of course, Freddy, our Chief Investment Officer. Freddy, how are you?
Hey, Philip. Another week has passed.
Yes,
Time's so quick now.
still going quick. Still no travel though, but we're getting there. So we do have a few updates. I think, Freddie, one of the things I wanted to get into is the recent crypto rise in a second. But obviously, one of the big topics of the week is, as well, is the Senate has started the impeachment process of Donald Trump, right? Um, I think, we're recording this on a Wednesday. So today, actually, the Senate confirmed there will be a process, right, with six of the Republican senators siding with the Democrats to go forward with the process. How do you see this impacting the market at all? Is it just a political game that we shouldn't pay too much attention to, or is this a side note?
I'll be brief on this one. And for an outgoing president, I think the impact on policies and markets is no longer relevant. It's probably more impactful for Donald Trump himself in terms of civil liabilities or more.
Yes. No, I think good point. I think just to mention it, it's been in the news, right? So for people to understand how much an impact that could have for them. The other big one is, of course, it feels a little bit like 2017, 2018, when it comes to people looking for or searching for, talking to me at least. I don't know how it's for you, Freddie, been so far, but obviously the whole crypto space is getting mentioned a lot more again, right? This has something to do with the price obviously increasing again, right? People blaming the Federal Reserve for printing the money, of course. But also there is other things like Tesla this week. Elon Musk putting 8% of their cash reserves and buying Bitcoin for this, right? So people are saying, oh, this is now accepted, right? They might even accept it as payment, which they're not doing yet, but that's what they're thinking of doing. This would be the first big, payment you can make and on a transaction basis. What are your thoughts on all of this?
Um, Maybe not my thoughts, but more like an unbiased opinion from what I read and from different angles. From the corporate governance angle and from the SEC angle, I think Tesla's move it will invite attention, may even invite props, because it's very unusual for a corporate company to allocate cash reserves into something that's volatile and something that is not officially recognized by the accounting bodies as cash or cash equivalent. So I believe that there will be some regulatory props that they will be upcoming. And also personal thoughts would be, from a corporate governance angle, I think this might not be the best idea for any company to go ahead. But of course, the market was just now presuming that more and more companies would do the same because Tesla did it. But don't forget that Tesla is a more uh, innovative or progressive companies. Other companies may or may not be. So buyer beware. Check in your FOMO. So that
Yes,
would be
checking your
my
FOMO. And I
advice.
think this is something we talked about obviously in 2018 a lot. So do you see this already overheating, or any opinion on that?
Who knows? I think we did this before, and we mentioned that if you actually do the math in terms of the number of coins left to be mined, the network effect, eventually where it's going to grow. You make some assumptions. Some people have Bitcoin's fair value at $100,000 a coin. Some people had it more. But even then, when you are paying $46,000 now a coin, going for $100,000 in 120 years, because that's the amount of time when all the coins will be mathematically mined.
Yeah.
It's a nonlinear time frame. It's actually not a great return over the very long term basis. You're better off if rubber glove companies doing well in 2020, or you're better off elsewhere. I mean, there are people that beat Bitcoin, right? Do you call Dogecoin or Dogecoin? What was that coin again? It
Yeah,
went a
Dogecoin.
thousand
Yeah.
percent, a lot more than Bitcoin, and it's also inviting eyebrows within the cryptocurrencies community, in the sense that it was designed as a joke on as a prank, and it's actually taking money away from the serious guys who's actually innovating. So And Elon himself has tweeted a number of times referring to the Doge or the Dogecoin, referring to it. And, I personally felt that's a little less than responsible.
No, good points there, Freddy. We do have a question from one of our listeners from last week's video. So for everyone else, if you're new here, please feel free to put any questions in the comment section. So Freddy and myself will be able to pick that up. Or if you listen to it as a podcast, send us an email to support@stashaway.com and we'll pick that up from there. But David Fletcher had a question for you, Freddy, and he said, he's asking, are there any changes on the view in the high allocation that you currently have to GLD or the gold ETF we use going into 2021?
Well, thank you, David, for the question. It's always a very critical one. And it wouldn't be my views. I'm more like a translator of the signals that we see. And what ERAA, our investment framework, sees today is that we are in an unprecedented situation where unprecedented amount of money has been printed. I mean, this topic is also a reason often cited by the Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies community, right, as to reasons why people are trying to diversify a little just to see how it goes. Gold is one option that has a long track record of proving itself in terms of being a hedge against dilution of paper money. And central banks are systematically holds gold reserves to diversify their trade balances and surplus reserve holdings. So it has a special place. The reason the allocations is high for some portfolios and StashAway is because of the huge amount of monetary stimulus that's going on. In fact, if I have to be more useful than this, I would mention specific numbers in the sense that during COVID-19, pick the bottom when the market crashed, our Singapore users gained 7.5 percentage point in returns to offset asset losses, to keep things under risk controls. And that's thanks to allocations such as gold. The huge amount of gold actually works out well. And also 8.9% for our Malaysian users. So its function is to also absorb the impact of the depreciation in US dollars, for example. So those things has really worked out well. And at some point, it will change to the other way. We would just have to monitor incoming data, leading indices, and let the data speak for itself. It's not a view-based approach, it's a data-driven approach.
Yeah, the data will tell the tale. And when it does, we will let everyone, of course, know. And you see that also in your portfolios changing at that time. Thank you, Freddy. We do have a few webinars coming up, as always, in the new year. We have in Singapore our investment basics seminar, which is on Thursday, the 18th of February from 7 p.m. onwards. Links are in the show notes below. In the MENA region, we have Freddy is actually doing a webinar called A Deep Dive into StashAway's Advanced Investment Framework. So if you're interested in learning more what Freddy already just mentioned on how he uses, for example, gold and like changes in the portfolios, feel free to join the MENA region seminar. It's on Thursday, the 18th of February as well, and the links are in the show notes. And last but not least, for our Malaysian customers and listeners, we have an inside look into StashAway. So if you want to learn more about StashAway, if you had like questions that you always wanted to ask, feel free to join us next Wednesday, 17th of February, 6 p.m. Again, links are in the show notes below. And we're looking forward to having you attend those sessions. They're super helpful, super educational, and also interactive. So please join us if you want to learn more. Otherwise, Freddy and myself will surely be back next week, and you'll hear from us then. So have a good rest of your week. Thank you. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get notified whenever we have new content out for you. Also, don't forget to download the StashAway app. It's available in the Apple App Store as well as the Google Play Store. So you can start on your financial journey right now.